event. So you're all very welcome this morning. Happy to see so many faces. People are still logging on. Happy New Year to everybody. I really hope everyone has a prosperous 2021. Hard to believe we're back in this place again. As I said to James, sitting in front of a screen. But look, it is what it is, and we are lucky to have this technology, I suppose, that we can engage and stay connected with our members. So today I just wanted to let people know that we are still planning plenty of events throughout the year. More the events, I suppose, towards the end of the year, in the hope that restrictions will have lifted somewhat. But we still have events for the first 6 months, even though they're a little bit different to what I had planned, but that's fine. And then Kieran Finan, who's our new president, is going to take over the reins and give you all a bit of background as to why Kieran got involved in the chamber, and we're delighted to have him as president for the next year or two, possibly, if we can convince him to stay a bit longer. So I'm going to kick off with a presentation. I'm going to share it now on my screen, so hopefully everybody will be able to see that, and I'll continue to admit people as the next hour progresses. So, as I said, today we're going to discuss the plans for 2021 for the Chamber, and then we'll introduce Kieran Finan, our new president, and he's also a director in Finline Furniture, but I'll save that bit for Kieran to tell you all about that. So moving on, I just wanted to kind of reiterate, what the Chamber actually does and the benefits of being a Chamber member. It's a good while since I actually went through the benefits of the Chamber membership. In fact, I think it could have been the launch back in September 2019. So it's no harm kind of doing a little bit of a refresher, and also for myself to make sure that we have delivered on what we said we would back in September 2019. So when you become a Chamber member, the first thing we do is list you on our business directory, which is on the Chamber website. And that's a really useful tool. You're out there, everyone can see, you're categorized by your sector, you put in your information, and in fact, you can be categorized in more than one sector. So I encourage any members on the call to have a look at that directory and make sure it's up to date. I'm currently doing a full review of the website, and it will be upgraded over the coming months. So just to make sure your details are correct on that. Something that happened as a result of COVID, I started doing member interviews, and they went down really well throughout COVID. It kept people engaged. In fact, it gave members more profile. We were having networking events, but the person you were trying to connect with didn't always come into the room. So the member interview actually gave that opportunity. So that's something I'd encourage everyone to avail of. And we really can facilitate at least one interview a year per member, and maybe even more on occasion if someone has some big announcement or really valuable information they want to share with the members. And that they're getting great engagement on our newsletter and on LinkedIn and on Facebook also. The other thing that we can do in the Chamber, and I've done this multiple times, is making introductions and connections for members to other members. So if you see someone on the list and you've been trying to engage with them, please don't hesitate to drop me an email and ask me for that connection, and I'll try and get you at least a phone call, or I'll be able to give you their email or some kind of connection into that business. Continuously, we're updating the members on business supports, initiatives, and any opportunities. And more than ever during COVID, we were constantly giving updates as we were receiving them in. In fairness, Chambers Ireland and the department, all of the departments actually were very forthcoming with updates on supports. So it was very important for us to get that information out. I hope some of you found those pieces very valuable in terms of particularly the financial supports and grants and training initiatives and other opportunities available. Again, throughout COVID, and we were doing it before COVID in our one-to-one network meetings, really trying to make them relevant. And make them information sessions, so people are actually learning as well as networking and connecting. And again, that's something that we aim to continue throughout 2021. We had a number of keynote speaker events. Again, we'll continue to do that moving forward, whether it's virtual or face-to-face. Support and advice, always I'm at the end of a phone. I certainly don't know the answer to everything, but I have a fair idea where you might need to go or who the expert is to give you that support and advice. And we have a great board of directors as well, who are also very knowledgeable and entrepreneurial, so they can offer their support and advice also. Lobbying and representation at both local and national level. And again, in the last few months, more than ever, we were in a position to lobby at a national level with Chambers Ireland. We lobby locally with our representatives. And again, for members who are looking for support in anything throughout the year, please give us a call and we'll help if we can. We support local initiatives, and a great example of that one was the Laois gift card. That came very late in the day, and really, I suppose it was as a result of the whole initiative around supporting local and keeping the spend in the county. That gift card, it was kind of a rush job to get it over the line before Christmas, but it was great, we did, and we were absolutely overwhelmed by the support that received. A lot of businesses use that as their gift at the end of the year, and it was a tax-free gift they were able to give to their employers. The shops kept selling out. I was topping them up right up to Christmas. Even in fact, between Christmas and New Year, they were still looking for top-ups. The last total figure I got on that, and that was just before Christmas, it was in the region of 90,000. So I think it'll even be more than that. So that's way beyond what we expected. And that initiative is there to stay forever. It's done and dusted, and probably wouldn't have happened so quickly were we not in the situation that we were in. So it was great to get that going, and thanks to everyone who supported that. And again, throughout the year, there's continuous sponsorship opportunities, particularly around companies that are involved in particular sectors. So if you see that we're running anything and you'd like to get involved, or you come up with your own sponsorship ideas, in fact, please let us know. We had some great sponsorship events last year, including the Golf Classic, the Jobs Fair, a couple of our events, also the Business Breakfast. So again, we're always willing to creative ways of adding value for our members. So just to let you know, we're adding on a few initiatives for our members in 2021, and something that I had wanted to get involved in when I started this role was the option to, I've jumped to my second one first, so I'll just mention it. It's the SkillNet partnership. So we are partnering with a Midlands SkillNet organisation that deliver like incredible courses at a very low price. They're funded by the Department of Education, and they get a lot of money, and there's a lot of money been thrown at this, particularly around upskilling and retraining of staff. So we will be publishing all of those types of courses that are coming on stream. But for example, courses such as project management courses, training needs analysis, first aid responder, and also they contribute to your CPD hours if you're a solicitor or an accountant or anyone else who needs to keep your CPD hours up every year. So keep an eye on that, and more will be announced on that in the coming weeks. The other initiative that we're introducing is the age-friendly business recognition programme. Laois County was selected as one of 8 counties in the country to pilot a new initiative. It's at a national level, and it's been rolled out, headed up by Orla Carmody. She's a business consultant. She's married to Gavin Duffy. Some of you might have come across her. She's a very formidable lady. So she will, excuse me, sorry, my phone. So really what the age recognition business scheme is all about is making your business age friendly. So there are over 1 million people in Ireland over the age of 60, and they're the wealthiest cohort of people in the country. They have a disposable income because they're empty nesters. They have their savings. They've probably cashed in on various policies. They've no mortgage. So really the question I'd ask to businesses on here, are you doing everything you can to actually capture their business? This age business recognition program is, it's not going to cost you money. There's a little bit of time and effort, and then you become approved and you get a sticker and you can promote it on your social media and in your place of business. So we'll be giving you more information on that in the coming weeks. And this is on the request of a HR manager from one of our corporate companies. They would like to see a HR forum specifically for HR managers and HR professionals. So this will be for our members. It'll be a safe space for HR managers to discuss pretty sensitive issues around HR, particularly now in the new world of remote working and employee safety and well-being and all of that. So again, more information will be coming up on that. We'll be bringing in experts and relevant speakers throughout the year. So again, if anybody wants to find out more about that initiative, they can contact me after this session. The Laois for Business campaign, this is really something that we have always spoken about. It's about inward investment. I'm not going to go too much into that because Kieran is going to tell us more about what our plans are for that initiative over the next number of years. It's not just a campaign for 1 year. It's a big campaign really in the hope that we will attract domestic and foreign investment. And lastly, again, at the request of one of our directors, and I think this is actually a really good idea, we're going to, for our chamber members, a WhatsApp group. Again, it's a broadcast WhatsApp group, meaning that only the administrator can broadcast the messages. So it's really for information, you know, to keep you up to date if there's deadlines approaching for grants or initiatives, or there's important information that members need to know, or reminders of events that we're having. We'll try not and overuse it, that it's not another tinging on your phone in the middle of the night. We'll try and keep it to important information, regular, but not overuse it. So just to go through some of the events for 2021, it certainly is a challenge for the Chamber to, with any certainty, plan 2021. And with that in mind, you know, I do see the first 6 months, or at least the first 3 to 4 months, will be virtual. Hopefully we'll move to the hybrid, and then I would like nothing more than to be in a room meeting everyone. For anyone on the call that knows me, networking and face-to-face connection is what I like. It's one of the reasons that I was attracted to this job, and we have to make the best of that, and hopefully, I'm hopeful it's going to happen again in this year. So our first event that we're having is on the 28th of January, and the Governor of the Central Bank approached us actually in November to run this event, but coming up to Christmas, it just wasn't relevant. People were the heads down, trying to get as much as they could done before Christmas, knowing another lockdown was looming. So we're having it on the 28th of January. It's a registration event only. So himself and a lady called Grania McAvoy, who I believe is a Laois lady, and she's the Director of Consumer Protection, they want to hear the challenges that SMEs are having, particularly in the banking area in the region, specifically in Laois and Carlow. So if you have any questions, they will take those questions and answer them. So the details for that event will be published. I did publish them on LinkedIn yesterday, but they will go out in the newsletter. So it's a good opportunity to listen to what they have to say and ask the hard questions. We're also planning a virtual conference in February. This was an event I had planned to run last September, and it really came out of a request after the jobs fair. But again, it was never going to happen in September. I kept putting it off, and now I've decided that I think we can still run it, but in a virtual capacity. So it's really around delivering information to the business community on supports that are available around education and training, innovation, financial and leadership. We hope to have a keynote speaker on that event. It'll be a half a day, so it'll be a morning event. People can dip in and out of the relevant pieces. We will issue the list of speakers and at what time they'll be on. And at the end of the event, there will be the opportunity for virtual networking or breakout rooms. We're not fully sure yet how that's going to look, but more information on that to follow. We're also hoping to run a wellbeing series, which is not only available to the employers and the business owners, but also to your employees, because they are struggling at this time. Again, we did run some of these in the first lockdown during COVID, and they were really well received. We're in a new landscape, but luckily now there's light at the end of the tunnel. There's a way out of this, but the next few months will be challenging, and we need to make sure everybody stays safe and healthy. Again, throughout the year, whether they're virtual or online, we'll continue to run relevant events on relevant business topics and have keynote speaker events. And if anybody has any ideas, please let me know. I'm always open to suggestions. In fact, most events I run are based on what members have asked for. I don't assume I know what members want. I prefer to be asked, and then I can take action. Hopefully, and I think it's not been overly optimistic, that we will run at least one business breakfast in a room, sitting down at tables, whether we're still socially distanced, not sure yet, but that'll be at the end of the year, September, October. Again, the Laois Jobs Fair, which we ran last February, about 2 or 3 weeks before the lockdown, we were very lucky that that event happened. And I know a lot of job offers are still being made as a result of that jobs fair. So again, we're looking at maybe running that at the end of the year, again, depending on the needs of the companies. From what I'm reading, there is going to be, you know, a boom, or that's what some people are calling it, after this awful pandemic, and people are planning to recruit. So we're looking forward to hopefully hosting that event again. Again, an event that was had to be shelved in November. It had been booked. I had big plans for that event, as did all the Chamber Board of Directors. So we're planning that again for November, December. And I think more than ever, to be able to recognise the achievements and the resilience of our business members throughout 2020 and 21 will be a great celebration, hopefully, of what we've all been through and have come out the other end. And again, as I said, networking is my preferred way of engaging with people, particularly face-to-face. So as soon as we can, we'll be resuming those throughout the county, as we did before, hosting them in the hubs and the hotels. So looking forward to that day. So just a few other bits of information before I finish up. The draft Laois County Development Plan, and the consultation process has opened since yesterday and is open until the 23rd of March. So that is available on their website. I will be sharing that information across our social media platforms and on the newsletter. This is something that Evelyn in the Leo highlighted to me, particularly at the moment. She has a person who will audit your business to see, do you need further Brexit support? So it's a really good opportunity to make sure that, you know, you've ticked all the boxes, you're ready to do all your customs declarations. So it's an initial conversation to see what your requirements are. So if anyone would like to contact myself or Evelyn Redden in the local enterprise office after this, please do. And we're very delighted to announce a new sponsorship. This was something that we worked on last year. And today is a soft announcement, a soft launch of that with Gas Networks Ireland. So we're really thrilled and privileged that they have seen the work that we've been doing, and they're happy to support the Chamber for the coming year. So I know we do have Evelyn Preston on the call. Evan's going to say a few words at the end of Kieran's presentation today, just to give us a few words on how they see and the thought behind getting involved in supporting the Chamber moving forward. So without further ado, I'll hand it over to Kieran Finan. As I said, Kieran is the Director of Finline Furniture, and we're delighted to have him as the incoming president. Kieran was involved with the setup of the Chamber. Actually, he interviewed me, so it's great that he's come in as president, and looking forward to working with Kieran over the next coming number of years. So I'll stop sharing my screen and I'll let Kieran take over.
Hi everybody, thanks a million Bernie for that. Unfortunately I don't have any fancy slides or anything like that Bernie had, but I'll just do it a little bit more old school if that's okay. Just to say that it's a huge privilege obviously to be president of the Chamber for the coming year, and it's not something I take for granted, and I look forward to working with you all over the coming months. And it's an awful shame that we aren't able to all meet in person and have a proper event, which is a huge regret obviously, but I'm sure everybody's getting a little bit sick to the teeth of using Zoom, as I certainly am, but it is what it is. So we'll just keep going on. A few little things to mention. I want to thank very much my predecessor, Martin Crowley, who was president since September 2019. So Martin very kindly agreed to stay on last year for an extra couple of months during COVID, etc. Martin was a brilliant first president. If for any of you that met him, I'm sure you know about the huge passion that he has. Despite being a Corkonian, he has an absolutely massive passion for Laois and amazing energy levels. And we had a very successful launch event, and Martin spoke brilliantly at that event. And the Laois Jobs Fair was very much an initiative that Martin would have brought on board. I myself was a little bit skeptical about the fair because it was organised at quite short notice, but it was, for anybody that was there, it was an absolutely massive success, thanks to Martin and to Bernie as well for the running of that. And it was Martin's brainchild, and I think it's something that will continue hopefully long into the future, and will be a fantastic legacy of his presidency. We have a fantastic board in the Chamber. Obviously we're in year 2 now, so we made a decision to expand the board out a little bit. Originally we had last year a board, and staying on from that are Alison Brown, who's very kindly agreed to come in as vice president. Martin Crowley staying on the board, which is great. Conor McGarry from PowerPoint, who's our treasurer, and does fantastic work around our accounts and our bookkeeping, etc. And Paul Muldowney from Bank of Ireland there, who I'm sure a lot of you know, who's our treasurer for the Chamber, and does fantastic work and does all our minutes as well, which it can be quite painstaking, I'm sure. And then delighted to, you probably know, we brought on a few new additions to the board as well, which we're very excited about, and who have already been making fantastic contributions. Ashley Doyle from CJ Sheeran, Yvonne McKeown from McKeown Stone, John Paul Keogh from Scout Cyber Security, and James McElwee, who's from Rolliston McElwee Solicitors in Portlaoise. But just to, I suppose, make the point to anybody any members or any people who are tuning in today who are thinking of becoming members, it's a very inclusive board. We welcome any engagement with members or non-members, anyone who has any ideas or suggestions for board meetings or for events or anything, whatever it may be. Love for people to get in contact with any board members or Bernie, and everything is very transparent. Nothing is hidden or secretive or anything like that. Our minutes are available to people. We want to have as much inclusivity as we can, especially now with COVID, the fact that we can't meet in person. I think it's very important that people engage with us as much as we engage with them. And I also want to say a quick thank you to David Walsh-Comas, who's stepping off the board from Ballykilcavan, who did great work. But David, as any of you who follow David on social media will know, Ballykilcavan, they're a very up and coming, fantastic business. And David's a very busy individual with a very young family, so he's opted to step aside just through no other reason than that. And hopefully he's indicated that he'd love to get involved on the board into the future. I want to say a thanks to Laois County Council. Laois County Council obviously we're all business people. We all have our ups and downs with the council, etc. But I have to say, and I've had plenty of ups and downs with the council myself, but I can't thank John Mulholland enough for all his work with the chamber to date. It was his initiative to set up the chamber in the first place in 2019, as Laois was one of only 2 counties in the country that didn't have a chamber or a business voice in the county. So through John's help and Jerry Murphy and also Evelyn Redden put in a lot of work at the time, and I have to thank all of those guys. So we put a board together and interviewed Bernie and took Bernie on board, and we're delighted with that hire. It's worked out brilliantly. And as you all know, Bernie's, I'll get to Bernie in a second, but our chamber offices inside in Portlaoise are funded through the council as well, and they also give us some much needed assistance with chamber overheads, etc. So while we do appreciate the council's assistance, we aren't afraid to lobby or to work on behalf of our members if they do have issues or any grievances, etc., with council or anything to do with the council or issues they're having. It's very much an engaging relationship. So please don't feel that we're in any way in the council's pocket or anything like that, because that couldn't be further from the truth. So yeah, just to say thanks to Bernie for a fantastic first, say, year and a half, I suppose, at this point. It hasn't been easy. I hope all our members greatly appreciate all the work that Bernie is doing. She has been fantastic on the engagement front, which has been crucial, I think, especially through COVID. I personally have found all her engagement and interviews with our members to be hugely beneficial. And her setting up of the Laois voucher scheme as well has absolutely, I think that's a brilliant initiative. We in our own business have used the vouchers at Christmas there for all our staff, and they were delighted to spend. We want to practice what we preach. We want people to buy local, and it's great that our staff can in turn buy local through the Laois voucher. So that's been an absolutely brilliant scheme. I suppose I didn't really mention much. Our business, for anyone who doesn't know, is called Finline Furniture. We're based in Emo in County Laois. We have a factory premises here since 1979. Get a little plug in here. For anyone who's looking for any nice sofas or chairs, you know where to go. But we have retail premises in Dublin, Cork and Galway, and we also export about 20 to 25% of what we make, mainly to the UK. So we're lucky we're considered part of the essential supply chain, and we have contracts also with the HSE and nursing homes. So thankfully our factory premises are open currently, but our retail showrooms throughout in Dublin, Cork and Galway have unfortunately had to close down. But hopefully we'll reopen as soon as possible. So I suppose we're going through what a lot of other businesses are going through during these times. So again, we're here to talk to anybody, or anybody wants to get in touch with any issues they have regarding any PUP payments or COVID related issues, or even Brexit related issues. We'd love to assist in any way. And Ashley Doyle as well, and CJ Sheeran has been brilliant on the Brexit side of things, because obviously they export quite a lot of their products. So standing by and willing to help anybody who has any queries. I suppose a few goals for the year, and I won't keep you very long, people, because I know you all have work to do, etc. Would be, I suppose, we want to have a lot of engagement with our members, and thankfully Bernie is standing by to help out on that. But between myself and Bernie, we aim to contact every single member over the coming weeks, and just to get a feel for where your business is at. I personally have found Bernie fantastic on the grants side of things. So we get lots of information in from Enterprise Ireland and different organisations. But I have to say, I have found Laois Chamber to be the best. And obviously I'm biased, but that's genuinely the case. And we have availed of a lot of grants through contact with Laois Chamber. And I mean, yes, the chamber membership is an overhead that some people are probably going to question, is it worth paying this year? And that's a very valid query to have in these times. But I do think it's one of those things where if you have to pay whatever the membership is, be it the 250, 300 or up to the higher levels of say 750, you could get many multiples of that back through receiving grants and through advice that you can get from the chamber. I genuinely think that. So I really do think it's a no-brainer for people in Laois, and not just for that, but for networking opportunities, etc. as well, which I'll get to. The main reason why, when I suppose when John Mulholland and Laois County Council asked me to get involved in 2019, my reason for getting involved, and the reason for, I speak on behalf of all our board, was to get more jobs into Laois, and as well as supporting our members. So there has been a lot of work done around that particular focus. Can't comment too much, but there is certainly some potential initiatives that are hopefully, and businesses that are looking at Laois in the short to medium, and some even in the long term, maybe larger scale sort of projects that will hopefully be coming to Laois. I do think, and the board believe, Laois, and I'm sure everybody knows that Laois is fantastically situated geographically. I mean, the focus of our strapline for Laois Chamber now is making Laois the centre of Ireland for business, and not just physically, but actually the centre of Ireland for business. So, in a post-COVID world, I mean, anecdotally, and we all know, Dublin is very much a saturated market. Your Googles and your Facebooks, etc., have been hoovering up talent in Dublin. Housing prices are gone bananas. Childcare is exceptionally expensive. The cost of living is huge. Just people commuting around the city. It's all gearing, I think, towards maybe people looking at a better quality of life and a better standard of living, and more family orientated as well, and a good work-life balance. I certainly know from living in Laois that that's the case. So we hope that we can position Laois to overseas businesses, that they will consider, and Indigenous businesses, that they will consider Laois as an excellent location in which to locate their business. That we aren't just I suppose, part of, again, the reason why I would have got involved is I've always felt that Laois has kind of been the poor man a little bit in terms of maybe IDA investment and jobs, etc. That, you know, so maybe a lot of jobs went to our neighbouring counties, or like Westmeath or Galway or Kildare particularly. So no offence, Bernie, but I think that we've everything and more to offer to businesses as just as good as Athlone or Kildare. So I think that we'd love to do a lot on that front. So around that, I suppose we've created a document called the Laois for Business document, which is a kind of a working document that we intend to share with businesses overseas that are considering opening premises in Laois, or in Ireland, excuse me. That Laois will be very top of mind. We want to get them into Laois, and the Chamber engage with these businesses, show them around the county, show them everything that Laois has to offer in person. And obviously then at that point they can make an informed decision. But at least if we're in consideration, we have every chance that we can grow jobs, and more businesses can open in Laois, which can only be to the benefit of all our members and to all businesses in Laois. I suppose then around events, that's a bit of a messy one at the minute. I do see, however, that the ploughing look like it's going ahead, and well, at the moment they're hoping that it'll go ahead in September, as will electric picnics. So I suppose we have to assume or plan for the fact that we'll hopefully be able to have a lot of events in the second half of the year of 2021. So hopefully we'll be able to do things like our breakfast mornings, job fair, and Laois Business Awards. So we'll look forward to engaging with everyone around that particular area. And it would be brilliant to have a Laois Awards sometime towards the end of November. I think it'd be great if hopefully, if everything is fine, then to get everybody into a room and have a nice evening together, and being able to socialise a little bit will be a nice change. And I suppose around our events, I just want to say thanks to Gas Networks Ireland for their sponsorship as well, and to Evelyn Preston for joining the call. Evelyn, your sponsorship is greatly appreciated by all in the Chamber, and we look forward to working with you in the coming year and having some great events, both remotely and in person. And then there's the piece around, I suppose, for engaging with Chambers Ireland, and I have to say Bernie is exceptionally strong in that area. So we do want to things like lobbying, etc. Again, Laois has probably been left behind in this area in the past, and now that we have a voice in the in the business community, we are getting Chambers Ireland contacting us and different entities to actually, like the bank, like the bank of central bank, etc., getting in contact, who want to meet with us and to engage with our members. So that's fantastic to hear, and hopefully we can grow that area of the Chambers over the year. And it's a huge bonus to the chamber that anecdotally, in talking to other chamber presidents, etc., and members, a lot of chambers have actually lost a lot of members during COVID and have been struggling financially. But thankfully, if anything, we've actually grown our membership. I think, Bernie, very slightly during COVID. I think we're actually possibly the only chamber in the country, albeit we're a new chamber, a younger chamber. So we would hope to have a good growth initially, but we have actually grown our membership during COVID, which is fantastic, and well done to Bernie on that. And our finances are, while they're not in an amazing position, and Conor McGarry does all our accounts for us. But I mean, we're in an okay situation, that we're in the short to medium term, we're certainly on a good footing. But having said that, we very much appreciate all members to pay your membership fees as soon as is possible, and because everything we get in is a bonus. I suppose that's really it. Apologies if I bored you all to death. I just, again, to reiterate, I really look forward to working with you all and to working with our fantastic board, especially. We have monthly meetings, and delighted if people can engage with us in advance of our meetings or with Bernie, make any suggestions whatsoever. We're here for our membership. We're here to represent you guys and to do all we can to make your business life better. And particularly, I have to say, around networking events, even be it remotely or hopefully when we can get back to it in person. I personally find it absolutely brilliant. I find if I even walk away from one event with an idea or two ideas and put them into practice, it's worth your membership alone, because just as an example, back in early November, I met Ger Ali up in the Heritage Hotel for a coffee. Ger just mentioned to me that he was thinking about that FBD Hotel Group were forecasting that they'd be closed in January and that there'd be another lockdown. To be honest, I hadn't considered that. We then forecasted that we would have a lockdown in January and went into our annual winter sale. Instead of having it in January, we had it in December. And thank God we had a lot of orders in December, which are it's going to keep our factory busy through to sort of April 2021, we hope. And if I hadn't met Ger and had that conversation, it wouldn't have come into my mind, and we would be in a situation now where we might be faced with maybe going on a 3-day week or God knows what. So just little things like that, and that's, as I said, just one little example of something positive that can come from a networking meeting. So listen, just to reiterate, this is not a talking shop. The chamber are here to serve our members. We want to do all we can to support you, and I really look forward to meeting all our members and anyone who's thinking about membership throughout the year. And I'm available, as are all our board members, on the phone or by email anytime at all to have a chat or to help out in any way we can. So I'll hand it back to Bernie, and thanks a million.
Thanks, Kieran, for that. And just to pick up on something you said, as I'm streaming live from my County Kildare virtual studio, I actually totally agree that Laois has as much to offer, if not more, than Kildare. And that's coming from someone that has been born and reared and living in Kildare. So moving along, Evelyn Preston is on the line, and Evelyn is going to just say a few words. And again, thanks, Evelyn, for your very kind sponsorship, and looking forward to working with you in 2021.
Hi everyone, good morning. I won't keep you too long. So just to introduce myself, I'm Evelyn Preston, as Bernie mentioned. I'm from Gas Networks Ireland, and I am the SME Sales and Connections Manager. I presume you're all familiar with Gas Networks in the fact that we maintain and deliver the physical gas network within Ireland. We've been involved with Bernie and have had ongoing relationship with Bernie since the establishment of the Chamber. And again, I suppose just to re-emphasise what has already been said this morning, we really see the fantastic work that Bernie is doing, and in particularly since March, and the supports Bernie and the Chamber have given to members. I think it's just fantastic stuff that's been done. So on that basis, we had myself and colleagues met with Bernie last year to put together a proposal around sponsoring the Chamber. And we're delighted to announce this morning that we're taking that forward for 2021. And on that basis, we're committed to working with Bernie, Kieran and the other board members we see and we acknowledge the potential within Laois. Again, I'm going to have to confess, while not a Kildare woman, I live in Naas, so just up the road. But we see the potential in Laois. And just to echo the sentiments that Kieran mentioned there, you know, around foreign direct investment, around, you know, Laois is now a suburb of Dublin in terms of decentralisation and attracting companies to Laois. There's huge potential there. And to support this, you need the key utilities. And one of those key utilities, obviously, is the gas network. And, you know, if companies are looking to decentralise or to come into Ireland, that is something that they will be looking for, and it's something we're certainly willing to support there. And we do currently with the IDA as well, when they're looking at sites and attracting foreign direct investment into Ireland. During the term of the partnership, look, we will work with Bernie in terms of continuing to offer supports to the members, and as mentioned, to the events later in the year, you know, as and when they can happen, but even virtually in the interim. Just to give a focus, or to give an overview on the gas network in Laois, it's currently in towns such as Portarlington, Portlaoise, Stradbally. We have over 9,000 customers on the gas network. Over 300 of these are business customers. We are deemed an essential service, so we're continuing to support inquiries for anyone looking to connect to the gas network, and to process connections. Would be prioritising essential connections to assist with the pandemic. And we've had a number of these in terms of expansions within hospitals, where they've been setting up extra facilities to get capacity in place to manage and support the current pandemic. So I suppose just on that, it would be remiss of me not to introduce my colleague David Ahern, that's on the call this morning. David looks after any connection inquiries for Laois, and David will put his details up there in the chat. So if you have any questions for David, please don't hesitate to give him a buzz. And just once again to really, I suppose, you know, we really are delighted to be sponsoring the Chamber. We see the opportunity here, and we will be doing a more formal launch in the coming weeks, so please keep an eye out for that. Thanks a million, Bernie.
That's great, thanks Evelyn, and again we're all looking forward to working with you throughout the next 12 months. So really we're on target for finishing in the 45 minutes, so delighted that so many joined us today. I think actually everyone that registered joined, which is very unusual. I think Kieran was, the fact that Kieran was on top of the bill actually created interest in this event. I think Kieran, you attracted more participants than Leo Varadkar, so well done. So just to kind of reiterate, please pick up the phone. As Kieran said, actually I intend to ring all our members over the next 3 to 4 weeks to just see how we can help. If any of the initiatives that I mentioned today are of interest, for your feedback, and also just with regards to you know, the membership fees. And Kieran is right, like, you know, you really do get bang for your buck, particularly if you engage. It's 250, 350 euros, and you get the opportunity to do an interview, which is going way beyond our membership. So there's definitely a return on your investment, although sometimes it's not easy to measure that. We do have payment options, so if someone is struggling with the cash flow, we take monthly, quarterly, or half yearly payments. So there's many ways to skin a cat, as they say. So I'm going to finish up and thank everyone for taking the time out today. Just to know, like, while I'm not physically in the office in Laois, I am online and available, whether it's a Zoom, a phone call, or an email. So the office is very much open now more than ever. And as updates and announcements come in, you'll be the first to know. So thanks all for your engagement and your support. And I don't see any questions in the chat. So assuming if anybody'd like to say anything, they can raise their hand. I do see David Ahern from Gas Networks Ireland has put his details in there if anybody'd like to make contact with him after this morning's event. So I can take it that nobody has anything to add, or again, give me a call if you prefer to talk on a one-to-one basis. Thanks all for taking the time out today, and particularly to Kieran and Evelyn. Thank you.
Thank you, everybody.
All right. Thank you.
Thanks, Bernie.